Aikena mesarete kesareninia meka. Welcome, happy Thursday. Nameka sarete baka sareninia meka. Happy way of being. Nare baka sareninia meka. Happy experience of your life. Baraka sareni meka niki. Of yourself. Nareka sareninia meka. And this wonderful experience that is the human experience. Tareka sareninia meka. Welcome. Naraka saretikinia meki. I honor the space that you're in. Soredake sareninia meka. I honor the space that we are creating at this moment in time. Saredake sareninia meka. And I honor your journey. Soredake sareninia meka. Your strength. Naraka sareninia meka. Your love. Naraka sekerekinia meka. And your commitment to growth. Naraka sareninia meka. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Thank you for your patience. As I said in the story, we started later because I started going running with my puppy because he has so much energy, and if he doesn't go running, then he can get separation anxiety. So, so here we are taking care of little ones before we come into the space, you know. So there's this message that really wants to come through really strongly since yesterday, okay, about protection. And I'm really going to go as in depth as I hear the messages and feel them, because it's so important, this protection thing. And this is not a joke. This is not a joke. And trust me that at the beginning of my journey of this really awakening, going so in depth into my being and my existence, I felt that when people said about protection, it was kind of like, you know, but we're all light and love. Why do we need to be protected? Well, I mean, there's two sides of the coin, right? And so if you're not protected, something can come into your field, and not necessarily your field, but also the space that you live in. And this is where I'm going to share something with you that happened to us yesterday. And this is the reason why this message is coming through really strongly, okay? We had an entity in our home yesterday. We don't even know how long this entity had been here, but it was really creating so much tension and so much heaviness that we were colliding, yeah? And so an oracle that we go to, she told us this. And last night, I channeled, and I'm so grateful for all the energies that come through and the support of the earth and the elements, you guys. This is why I am so, every time that I get the message of sharing these kinds of things, is so important when I talk about the elements, because they are your allies. So had I not have the confidence and also, you know, the support of the elements, the support of the earth, the support of my ancestors, the support of my guides and my angels, the deities, the goddess I work with, I don't know if I would have been able to do that, you know, because really at one moment when he told me this message, okay, there's an entity here. She said it's in this part of the house. I was like, okay, let's figure this out. And so what happened was that I closed my eyes, I connected, and I began to see where this space was, where this entity was, and I saw it, you know. And so then immediately I called upon everything I work with and supports me in order to remove this entity out of our home. And I tell you something, you know, and this is something that I constantly tell also my clients, that yes, it's my physical body doing it. Yes, I continuously do the work in order to be a clear channel, in order to get all the support, and so the energies come through and do something in a way mind-blowing through me, yeah? But at the same time, you know, it's something bigger than me that came through out of my willingness to surrender to that part. And it did it all. It did it all. I knew exactly what to do because these energies were doing it for me, and they were holding space for me to cleanse our home. And the moment that, you know, it was expelled out, there was so much peace and there was so much lightness, yeah? And this is where all the deities and the angels that I work with is we gotta talk about protection, because apparently our home wasn't really protected, yeah? Otherwise this entity wouldn't have come and had arrived into our home. And now there's two parts. Well, there's more, but we're gonna talk about two things about protection, yeah? So yes, protecting your energetic field, your entire being. Good morning, Rome, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. So there's about protecting yourself, your entire field, you know, especially as you're going through really deep experiences and very deep releases, okay? Because you are elevating, and we've talked about this many times, you know, when there's like a highest version of yourself is really calling upon you and you're merging with this part of you, because it is already you. That experience has already happened. So as the merging is happening, you know, there's many things that are being shed. Yeah, there's many things that are being shed, and at the same time, even though you're going higher, it might feel like you're collapsing down. Yeah, but you're in reality you're not. You're really going higher. You're merging with this part of yourself. The vibrations of your being are really going up. But because the mind is going into these things about like, oh my God, this releases, like, oh my God, this is horrible, oh my gosh, this pain, and whatever else that comes to you, yeah? So then it creates this story, that you are really low. That rather than going up, you're really collapsing. Now you create the story and you believe it, and then you become very vulnerable. And so it's not like, in a way, it's not really the reality. You created the reality by giving space to the mind to think that you're actually not growing and that you're collapsing down and going to this spiral downwards, okay? And so what happens here, because you create the reality by the belief of the mind, then you are very vulnerable, very susceptible to like any of the energies coming through, okay? And it's true, you guys, because it has happened to me too, okay? That whenever we're very vulnerable and we're not protected and we just believe that we're just like so low and just collapsing rather than growing, then you open up your energetic field to any other energies that are waiting for the opportunity to come into your space, you know, to in a way like be the puppeteer of you, okay? And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just saying this so you are aware. And the reason, again, why I'm saying this is because the experience that we had yesterday, our home, that there was an entity here just creating a lot of freaking tension. And I'm telling you, a lot of tension, okay? And also at the same time, because I've lived it. So if I can share this, I'm going to change my words, because I'm sharing this with you, then it can be in your awareness, and then you can actually take the right steps so then you are safe, okay? This is all about, in a way, you know, yes, we take risks whenever we're growing, and then we just make decisions that our intuition says to do, and we're like, we don't even know why we're doing it. And yes, you're taking risk, but at the same time, you gotta keep your protective sphere, in a way, of your being, you know. And this is not a defense mechanism. This is just a fact that comes from unconditional love, because I hope that you freaking love yourself, right? So that because you love yourself, that you want to stay safe and you want to hold space for the magnificent being that you're becoming, and all the things that are happening and emerging to many of your like different higher versions of yourself. And so because this is happening, you know, you put this barrier that is, again, out of love, out of unconditional love for yourself, because you know that at times the mind will play those tricks, that you are not good enough, that you're collapsing rather than growing. So because then you already know that, and you are one step ahead of the mind, then you can use your protection, yeah? You can use your protection for this. And one of the messages that I received yesterday is to channel protections for any you that want to be channeled a protection. It will be like $55. If you're really interested in that, just let me know, send me a message, and we'll schedule like a session, yeah? Because what happens here is that whatever you are in your journey, your protection changes. Okay, imagine you're growing, you're a little baby, right? And so you have small clothes. Small clothes. The more you continue to grow, you get bigger clothes, right? And even when we're adults, it might change, you know, maybe you lose weight, maybe you gain a little bit, maybe you get taller as you're going through like the growth phase of the human. So it's very similar in a way, okay? The protection continually changes. No, Amildi, your protection from yesterday is perfect for you right now. Thank you. That's a good question. Yeah, so for example, Amildi, you know, yesterday in our session, we worked through something differently, and now she opened different parts of her being, which she started channeling. I'm so excited. She started channeling, and because she's begun to channel in different ways that she was doing it, because you were already doing it, then there needs another protection, okay? So this happens. Like, I do the same thing, you know, for myself anyways. So now this is one part of that, okay? This is one part about your being. Now, it's another thing a little bit different in your home area, depending if you live alone or if you live with different beings, okay? Because if you live alone, and you already have your protection, and because you are the only energy in a way that moves around through that space, then most of the times it's not so necessary unless you bring people over constantly to like have a really big protection in your home, okay? Now, if you live with different beings, even if it's one, okay, then it's different because there's two energies, yours and the other person's, yeah? And you, yes, you are aware of anything that happens within you. For example, let's say you have your protection, you take care of your energy, and you may maybe not even know if there is the protection coming from the other side, yeah, from the other person. And because you don't know, maybe the person is not protecting itself, or maybe doesn't have the right protection for that particular moment in time, so that it can bring anything into the energetics, yeah, the energetics of the home. So now, let me give you an example here, because this is what I'm seeing. So imagine the other person, right? Because we're not in control of what the other person brings into the table, I think into the home space. Imagine that this person went somewhere else, had a conversation, or whatever it is, went into a space where there were somewhat of no high vibrational beings, for example, as they like talking about high vibrational things. And so maybe something could have come into the sphere of this person, okay? And I'm going to give another example after. Maybe something happened that just like an energy was like just smart enough to get into the field of this person. And so because the person wasn't fully protected, using the right protection at the moment, it was in the field and maybe started to feel a little sick, or maybe headaches, or who knows, because you do feel it. If you're very sensitive, and you can go from one place of feeling like that you're so centered to another place of feeling heavy. And then it comes into the home space. And now this energy has like so much space to roam around. And then also another person, or maybe different people that it can like kind of mess with in a way, okay? I'm trying to make this as light as possible. Okay, so, and then there's tension in the household, okay? Because the house was not protected. It's as simple as calling up on your guides. If you don't want to do a ceremony about protecting your home, you can just really like call upon your guides, set up like boundaries around it, white energy if that feels cold for you. For some people it's more gold energy, and put it all around the protection. I like to do it around our cars too, so the cars are protected, and of course our puppy, yeah. Okay, the other thing is like items, and this is how it came. We believed anyway that this is how it came into our home, okay? Items, it really can be into, and again, I'm telling you this because it happened. I'm telling you this because it happened to me. It can happen to anybody. Who knows? Maybe it really has been happening to many people, and they have no freaking idea that this has been happening, okay? So, for example, the entity that was here in our place was using my teddy bear. To watch us, you guys. To watch us. And so we don't know how long it's been here. But the teddy bear has been here for months. And I used to play with it, I used to hug it and all this things. So, and we got it from like a thrift store. So we don't even know where this really being came from. And I didn't even cleanse it because I wasn't thinking about cleansing it, because it's a teddy bear. Who thinks to clean up a teddy bear? So this is the thing, like, it's really important, depending on where you're getting the items, to really cleanse them. Even a crystal, you guys, because crystals are meant to be activated by your own energy, but also cleansing them. Because if you go to a crystal shop, there's so many people that touch these crystals and try to feel out if really is something like that they resonate with or not, and I do it too. Like if I grab one crystal and feeling it, okay, maybe this is not it. I thought it was calling me, but maybe it was the one right next to it calling me. And so there's a difference here. And then you cleanse it when you grab it. You activate it with your own energy, because then it's working with you, it's with you working, and it knows your energy, and it knows how to stay with your energy. So this is really important to do this kind of protection, and just to be safe, just to be here with you, because we do have to remember that even though there is this fluffiness about light, it's just like concentrate on your light and all these things, like we do have to acknowledge that we have shadow aspects. And if we have shadow aspects, the world has shadow aspects, yeah? Like, because we're made of dark and light, you know, dark matter. And then because there's a dark, there's also the light. And so it's really important here just to be with yourself, to take care of yourself. And again, the reason why this messages came strongly was because I've lived it, not just yesterday, but throughout my years, you know, and I've learned. And if you're ready working with your guides, which is awesome, by the way, if you're already working with your guides, you can call upon them and just have them protecting yourself, you know. It's as simple as you really believe in prayer, which prayer is so powerful. You can also pray if you don't really want to like get your own personalized protection. So that's like little steps that you can take, okay? Okay, so we're going into another message now. All right, so we must remember that in this journey, okay, the higher that you elevate, the more that you will be able to see different things that whether you were not able to see them before, or whether you just kind of push them aside, thinking that maybe I'm just imagining these things, okay? And it's very important to know that the reason why you can do it is because you can see it or feel it, is because you can do something about it, because you're ready. Because the more that you continue to elevate, as in to raise your vibrations, to come back into yourself, to begin to channel, okay, you will be able to see the truth, you know? Because again, the superhuman vision is open. So things that were in a way closed by conditioning or by stories of your lineage, or even stories of you, will be able to be seen, okay? This is one of the reasons why I can see these entities, you know? Because I'm not closing myself to the idea that there's only like amazing energies out there, because I've also felt otherwise. But there's also like a mixture, because these energies also want to be seen and want to be acknowledged, and they were not, depending on what their story is, yeah? But so, of course, there's this thing about compassion, there's this thing about understanding, there's this thing, but at times it's about you, and at times it's about keeping you safe. So here, the remembrance is that as you continue to be in tune with yourself, you'll be able to see everything that we believe to be negative, that we believe to be positive. And one of the reasons why you begin to see all these things is so you find the centeredness. So then it's not just like, oh, this is a bad thing, oh, this is a good thing, but it's like, it's what it is. It's what it is, you know? And even if it's like a dark sensation, this also dark thing also has the light. Even if it's a light sensation, it also has the dark. So how we can't really be like, okay, separate it into different aspects, because that's just again creating more separation. But it's the awareness of knowing that, like, okay, my superhuman vision is activated, and I'm able to see things as they are, more and more and more and more. And because I'm able to see more things as they are, then I can be more neutral. And because I can be more neutral, then I know that there are many things that can come my way. And because I know that, and I'm one step ahead, okay, I will protect myself, and I will protect my family, and I will protect, like the energy at home. And of course, they can come from any directions, really, you guys. But if you are really protected, if you are really in tune with yourself, even if you don't believe you are, and those moments where you just feel like, oh yes, I'm so centered, I'm so good at this, like those are the most perfect moments to just like explode the energy out of you, like literally, because then in that moment you're so centered, you're so aware, you're so confident to explode it out of you and put it all around your home, or all around your workspace if you work at a home, or even in your car, or even on your partner, on your kids, or on your dogs. Because then it's not that you're taking your energy out, but you are bringing more force into those areas around you. So if those areas were a little bit lower in vibrations than you, then they're going higher. And because they're higher, then those energies cannot come into that field. Does it make sense? Unless you invite them, of course, right? But of course, I hope you don't invite them. so then you are safe. Then your space is safe, okay? And one of the things that I'm hearing right now is that because there is this this collide, okay, of these energies of the dark and the light, and we see this so constantly in our world. We see that with war that is happening, you know, right now. We see that with tension. We see that in politics. Like there's a lot, especially if you watch TV, you know, there's a lot of that collision that is happening in our planet. And so because that is happening outside of us, it doesn't mean that it needs to happen inside of us. Of course, there's a little level that is happening. But the more that you stay within yourself, the more that you stay in the space of neutrality, okay? And neutrality doesn't mean that you see all those things and you ignore them. Yes, you know, there's shitty things that happen in the world, and for sure it affects all of us, yeah? And there's really good things that happen in the planet that we're like, oh my gosh, yes. The thing is that there's so many things happening. There's so many energies around. There's so many energies that come into your field. We are like bombarded with information every single day. And because you're bombarded with information every single day, your aura must be strong. Your aura must be strong because that is your sphere of protection. The stronger it is, the more the intelligence of your aura can detect something that is trying to harm you. And in a way, it ricochets back to something else. So it has the opportunity to, and the intelligence to really change these things, change that energy, you know? Because remember, energy can be changed. It doesn't die, right? So it can alchemize the energy. So rather than penetrating your being and harming you, it can actually like alchemize it and change it into, like, again, unconditional love and protection and all these kinds of things. Oh, Willow, it's so good to see you, sister. Oh, I miss you too. I hope you're doing well. And so I hope this makes sense, you guys, because it's really important, you know, it's really important that you keep yourself safe, okay? And that doesn't mean, honestly, it doesn't mean to be afraid all the time and to put up barriers around yourself. It just means to be one step ahead. It really means that, like, yes, there are things all around us. There are many, like, things happening all around. So if I keep my aura really strong, and you keep it with doing, like, breath work, we're doing yoga, we're doing meditation, even dance, if you're doing this consciously in a way of setting up an intention, because remember, intention is your access point, and it's rooting it, you know, the sessions, like deciding, yes, this is what I'm doing, and I don't care how it comes, but I just know that it's gonna come. So when you decide, you know, and you continuously do those practices to help you, your aura gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So the intelligence of the aura gets even more activated, and it begins to tune in with all the intelligence of nature. It begins to tune in with the intelligence of the animals. It begins to tune in with the intelligence of the elements. You see what I mean? It's like one thing that just comes together to help you because it's you. Because it's you. So why not connecting with the elements? Why not connecting with nature even more? Why not connecting with the animal kingdom? If it's us, it's literally another version of ourselves in just a different form. But all of that gets connected through the aura, so they can all help you as well. And again, it's as simple as saying, when you feel that tension, like there's something going on that doesn't feel very, very nice, you know, that literally your antenna, your intuition goes like, that's not, let's not go that way. There's something funky there. Then you can like go like this, literally, if that's what you wish. Okay, protection on, calling upon the elements, calling upon nature, calling upon whatever it is that you call upon, you know. But of course it will come if you're calling upon them, they will come, yeah. And you might not feel it if you haven't had the chance or given yourself the opportunity to actually work in depth with these elements and with nature and stuff. But the fact is that it will come if that is what you are searching for, right? Remember that based upon what happened yesterday, you know, I was guided to just channel protections for everybody. And if you would like to have a channel protection by me, by whatever it is that's happening in your moment in time, send me a message and we'll get it done, okay? Okay, and there is something else. This is why this is happening. This is the moment it's like, okay, we're going into a different direction. All right, neutrality. Neutrality. One more time, the message is to be very clear, okay? Neutrality doesn't mean that you are not paying attention and that you're ignoring everything. Mildy, you got this, you got this. Maybe by next session, then I'll be hearing you doing this. But so neutrality doesn't mean that you are just trying to be blind and not see it. For example, if you're seeing like a mother just, this is a really rough example, but if you're seeing a mother just hitting a child that is in front of you and you're just like, okay, I did not see that, it's not that. It's not that. It's just like seeing, like, for example, in this example, seeing that the mother, it is hitting the child, and of course it's gonna hurt you, but like, who knows what happened for the mother to act that way? Who knows what's happening in the energetic field of the child? That doesn't mean what she did is really right, Maybe even going into the space like, how can I help you? Like, do you need any support? Because it's not the mother who wanna just hit the child all the time, Something happened for them to get activated at the moment in time, and not necessarily that moment, but who knows how far back. Okay, so it doesn't mean about like looking at the planet and being like, okay, everything is light right now and there's nothing dark happening. It's knowing like some dark things are happening in the planet, but I can trust that it's for the highest good of everybody, even though it does fucking suck. It really sucks to like see it, but like, why is it happening? Because there's a shift in consciousness. There's something that needs to be alchemized in this area. So yes, but because I'm seeing this, I can also connect and send them my love, because those people are suffering and they might feel, because trust me that they really do, might feel my connection and my love and me holding space in the energetics for them, so that they know that somebody cares, that even though there's like shit going on in their world, something else on the other side of the planet really cares for them. So that's neutrality. Not going into like, not pointing fingers, not putting up barriers or going kind of like what they put in the horses, so they cannot see, right? And they cannot see in this direction, just tunnel vision. So then you are there. Then you are there. Not pointing fingers, not making more separations or anything. Just being in it, in the neutral space, in the space of like, I can see in every single angle what I need to see, and I'm not really going to react, but I'm going to be in the space of neutrality, in the space where I can feel what is going on in my being and just act accordingly to that, from compassion and from love. Okay, I hope this really makes sense. So that is one of the messages they're telling me right now, the space of neutrality. From the space of neutrality, that the yin and yang symbol, right, and the little dot in the center, that's what the little dot is. It's a very similar of being, in a way, it's another metaphor for the eye of the storm, being at the eye of the storm, because then you're not just like going like this. Like, you see it and you really might feel it, but then you know how to access that point where you can actually witness, rather than being in tension, rather than creating more tension, rather than creating more separation. Because when we also say, just concentrate on the light, everything is light and love, we're also, like putting aside the shadows and creating more separation because of that. And this is not, I'm not telling you like, oh my God, yes, just look at the shadows and look at the light. Just look at everything, because everything has medicine, just like you. You have a particular medicine that is so needed in this planet. And this is one of the reasons why you're guided to either listen to this live video, podcast, whatever, because there's something in you that says like, yes, like I have this particular medicine that is so powerful and is really helping in the planet right now. And it doesn't matter if you are working with somebody in this side of the planet, but because the work is happening by you being you, you're also helping the ones there in the opposite side of the planet. They have no idea that you exist. Because again, going back to the web of connections, we're so connected. We're not separated. So that's just like the illusion of like, just look at the light or just look at the dark. It's like, no, they wouldn't exist. Without one, the other one wouldn't exist. You can't really take them out of the equation. You can't take them out of you. Okay, so it's very similar. So begin to be more in tune with that space. You can meditate upon the space of centeredness. You can meditate upon the space of the eye of the storm. And I really invite you, like the messages that I'm hearing right now is that when you feel that you are just like this, in the waves, rather than going with the wave and becoming the waves, or like you're awakening that you're going against the wave, or it really feels like you're going against the wave, like the invitation that I'm hearing and I'm seeing right now is that like you're just have invited in a way consciously to just be in the storm, right? And to allow the storm to just like do all these things to you, and almost like you don't have control. But you do have the awareness to go into centeredness from that, and you access that through your breath. You access that by being present with whatever is happening in your journey. You access that by saying like, yes, thank you. I understand that I had to like hit and go and feel that I'm going against the current in order to access this space. Like if you are a very visual person like I am, visualize yourself that you are in the tornado, and then you suck yourself out coming into the centerness of it, into the eye of the storm, yeah? And see how that helps you, because, yeah, you got this. You definitely got this. And it's really important to, here's another one. It's really important to remember your power, okay? Let me repeat this again. It's very important to remember your power. You're not powerless, okay? You're not powerless. Like you have everything inside of you to tune in, and that which you really want to tune into. So in those moments where you feel that you're going against the current, in the moments that you feel that you're going like this intention, like remember your strength and remember your power. Put your sticky note around. Have it somewhere, have it somewhere. When I was like highly suicidal, I made different bracelets with different like quotes in French. And there was one in Spanish that said abuelita, which means like grandma. And so I would literally have to look at these bracelets like almost like every second, so I wouldn't try to like my mind get activated and try to kill myself. And this is and I'm being very honest. So those were my sticky notes, for a remembrance that like, okay, I got this, okay, I can hold on to this, like let me take another breath, let me be here every second, okay? Maybe for you it's not as like intense as it was for me back then, and I really hope it's not, but that you can have that sticky note, like I have the power within me, I can do this, I am pure consciousness, I'm just remembering myself and going back into the remembrance space. So then I have the choice to decide what I want to do right now. Do I want to feel again that I'm just going against the current and colliding again over and over and over again with myself? Or you have the choice to decide, yes, I'm going to be in the centerness. Yes, I'm going to zoom out and suck myself out to put me in the centerness, in the eye of the storm, so I can see everything from neutrality. So then I don't take things personally. So then I know, because you already know, you guys, you already know. Like the intelligence of your being is so powerful. It blows me away every single time when I tune in into my own energies, when I tune in the energies of my clients. Like it blows me away, the intelligence of every single system. So your system is beyond freaking intelligent, beyond intelligent. So trust that intelligence, because it's the intelligence of life. Is the intelligence of life. And if you're seeing, like the buds coming through again in the trees of the leaves and all these things, or the flowers, like that intelligence right there, the intelligence that allows to bloom from a tree, to go from feeling and looking really naked to being like blooming with beautiful leaves and beautiful flowers, that same intelligence is in you. So if you go against it, of course it's gonna feel like there's gotta put more push and more push and more push in order to bloom. If you let it bloom, if you let your system bloom, then it will just happen if you go with it, right? So think about yourself. So this is what I'm seeing. Like think about yourself as this magnificent tree, okay? So it went through the seasons, right? And then it went from, it's coming into spring from winter. And it's coming back and blooming, right? The tree doesn't tell itself, hurry the fuck up. The tree trusts its process. and it knows that everything is coming at the divine time, at the time that it needs to come. It knows exactly that when it allows itself to just expand, then like the little buds will come through, and then all the leaves will come through, and the flowers will bloom, and it will be like beyond magnificent one more time in the way of like, you know, seeing it, right? Because it's always been magnificent. So now this is you. This is you through the awakening process. You know, it really like you are, as you're integrating, you're taking off layers. So then you're going into the winter state. Okay, you're going into the winter state where it feels maybe even naked. You know, perhaps you have felt this way, or you're feeling this way. I definitely did. Like I was so vulnerable. So imagine now the space of the tree, where the tree is just has been full on naked, and you see the trunk so clearly, and you see all the branches so clearly, and there's no one little leaf, and there's no one little bud coming out. Okay, so this is like the beginning of the awakening, is that part where really it's like you're completely bare. But the more that you go into it, okay, the more that you go into it, you go into the space, into the phase of blooming. So it starts again with the little buds, and one little bud comes through. Well, there's not that one comes through at one time, because if you're looking at the trees, there's many buds coming through at the same time, yeah? So there's many buds coming through at the same time, and they begin to bloom, maybe one second before the other one, but they're in that space, you know, they are changing, and they're blooming, and they're coming back to life. This is what's happening with you. But in the bud, you know, it has to push through something in order to become the bud, in order to become that flower. So at times that's why it might feel a little bit that you're exploding as this is happening, you know. But the more that you surrender to that little tiny explosion or the little crack, this is where like the cracks in the bodies also happen. When they crack, then it just comes through and blooms. One part of you blooms, and the other part is doing the crack too, and it begins to bloom one more time, right? But if you have the tension within you, and like this resistance, and at the same time like this idea that this is how it needs to happen, and you're not really trusting the intelligence of life, then, you know, this little bud that wants to come through and that is pushing through, then what you're doing is with your energy, you're saying, no, don't. But this is meant to bloom, so it will begin to do this thing, you know, the tension, until eventually you will not be able to hold it, and it will come through, okay? So there's no need to like have such a painful awakening. And I've said this again many times. There's no need for that. You can actually go back into your trust state, because that's part of you. That's part of you, like trusting, really, really trusting, and allowing yourself to bloom. So whenever, like, I really continuously to see a naked tree just going from winter into spring, you know, and into summer, and so this part's right here. If you find yourself in those moments where you're just like, this is so much, remember that little bud within you is coming back to life, and it's blooming. And so then with that visual, you know, it can feel like so much nicer and so much lighter, and be like, I'm blooming. Okay, you know, I'm blooming. You're blooming. So then it's not like, why is this happening? It's happening because I'm blooming. It's happening because a part of myself is remembering itself. And so that remembrance is allowing that bloom to happen. And so in my tree, because we're walking trees, in my tree, there's a branch that is just expanding so much, and all these buds are coming through, and all these flowers are coming through. And then the birds will continue to come and sing beautiful songs to me. Like, you know how beautiful and perfect nature is? That is your state. Perfection, intelligence. So visualize that when you feel like you're struggling, when you feel that you're not trusting, you know, it's not that you're not trusting. That is just another story of the head, another story of the collective, that like, how the fuck do we trust? You know, trust is you. Trust is you. Just like a tree outside, you know, trust itself to like go from being so amazing with like so many birds around and so many flowers and so many fruits, to go again into winter and into fall, and everything is falling down, and it becomes super naked in winter, and then it comes back into spring. You know, it's just like, and it trusts everything. It trusts exactly what it needs to do because it's being. It's in the space of being. So again, we are also trees, walking trees. So you already are in the space of being. It's not that you don't trust yourself. It's just a condition out there in the collective, a condition in your family, something that we have heard. It's like, oh, do you want to learn how to trust? Or like, this is what you do if you want to trust, you know? Honestly, I believe that nobody can teach you how to trust. It's just something that happens because it's already in you. As you continue to like alchemize everything that has been clouded, your superhuman vision and your heart and your intuition, it just comes. So it's about the work. The shortcut is the work. This is what one of my teachers says. It's not like you can really take a shortcut. The shortcut is your work, you know. And I know, and I can feel that I'm 100% sure that you are doing the work, that you are doing the work. So remember, again, sticking out around. If you want to make bracelets, go ahead. It totally helps me. That you are already trust, that you are already that tree, that it's just in the space of surrender and being. And it's like, okay, my leaves are going to fall. Eventually I'll come back again. And then I'm blooming and I'm precious and beautiful and whatever, you know, magnificent. So same as you, which is divine, which is so powerful. This is why this space is just like I said, I don't even know when I said this, but I'm such a nerd about this because I love it. And I knew I was going to do this the moment that I was able to tune into my body and being like, holy shit, the intelligence that runs within us, because it's not just in me, it's in you, it's in all of us. It's literally in this cup too. It's just in a different version. And it's not like that's bad, you know? It's just what it is. It's just what it is. So we invite you to, again, if you feel that you're struggling in that kind of way, then remember the tree analogy, which is not really an analogy. It's actually the truth. But if you want to see it as an analogy, see it, you know? And again, like suck yourself out of like the turbulence and go back into the centerness and see, because you access it. You can access it because it's you, because it's you. And so freaking awesome. So awesome. Oh, you guys, yes. Thank you. This was really good. It's so what I needed to hear too. So good. So especially after last night with that entity of like, how long has this been here? But anyways, oh, Amildi, I love you so much. So much. Okay, so one last thing that I want to share is about the Yoga Warrior 2022. So today is the very last day to continue to vote before we go into the next phase. And, you know, if you haven't voted for me today yet, I invite you to do so. It's in the link in my bio. You can send me a message too. I can send it to you right away. And today, the voting can only be until 7 p.m. Pacific time. And tomorrow we'll start a new phase. So I'm really excited to see what this new phase is, because I'm just like, yeah, this nonprofit organization continues to be in my field. Like, it's really important in my journey, like in my dharma, to have this nonprofit organization to help people through their awakening process. Again, especially the ones that don't have any means, you know, to pay for any services, and they really need it. So, yeah, I will be sending an email to you about it. But, you know, vote for me, root for me, and then I'll let you know tomorrow how that goes. Okay? And of course, I invite you that if you really are welcoming the space of like totally be back in yourself and remember your channeling abilities, because again, it's about like coming back into your superhuman vision and into your own intuition and into your own trust, you know, send me a message, we can chat about it. And I'm so excited that Amelia started to channel. So it's so fascinating. I love this journey. Okay, you guys, I love you. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful rest of your day and weekend if we don't talk, and I'll see you later. Ciao, please.